workload. So how far? Madam Secretary, Law Council, what is the current waiting time for a fresh graduate from the Law Development Center to enroll? There has been a lot of injustice in history on these young boys and girls who have graduated from LDC after a lot of hassle, and they wait for a very long time before they are enrolled, yet it hinders their effective practice of their trade. What is the current turnaround time, the waiting time? I thank you.
There is concern about the acrimonious relationship between the Uganda Law Society and the judiciary of recent, especially in the current leadership of the ULS. And to some extent, it is causing a lot of discomfort for the seekers of justice. As the regulator here in this profession, what have you done to try to harmonize and put to proper discipline the two in order to work together, because the two need each other? My second issue, Honorable Minister, through you, Chair, is about issue number 7 on page 13, about the breakdown on cases that have been dealt with by the ministry, the Attorney General, and you mentioned that in 2023-24 you represented government in 6,878 cases in courts, tribunals, and commissions, and out of this, you only speak about the 418 that you have dealt with, the ones 311 that you won. What about the other over 6,000 cases that you dealt with? What is the fate of those cases? And it also applies to the next financial year, 2024-25, which is current one, of which 904 cases were dealt with by your chambers, but only you speak about 393. So what is the fate of the rest of the other cases? The other issue, Honorable Minister, I think the others have been mentioned. You have asked us, actually you have presented a case of funding gaps, unfunded priorities, and you ask this committee and Parliament generally to provide more money. But, Honorable Minister, we have an unfiled case between the Parliament and the Executive in as far as appropriation is concerned. You are aware that in this current financial year, the appropriation bill was returned to Parliament by the President, saying that what Parliament did, they had no right and powers to do so. And now you're asking us to give you money. From where? Would you like to enlighten this committee about the extent to which Parliament can actually give ministries and agencies money that they require to do the work, but has not been provided by the authority of the owner of the budget, that is the Executive, who says that Parliament should not provide any money outside what they themselves, or outside what the Executive has presented to Parliament to appropriate. Thank you.
shadow attorney general to the other attorney general. And at that time, maybe the other attorney general seemed to appreciate the law more than even the others at the side, but that's on a light moment. Chair, I am very, very uncomfortable. We are a committee of parliament charged with the responsibility of processing appropriation on behalf of parliament. This budget is an executive budget. It is the Minister of Finance who is substantively the President. Why do his ministers come and they start disagreeing about doing that budget? I thought ministers should come here and speak with one voice. But their disagreements, if I were rude, but I am not rude, I would say if their confusion has not been sorted out in a cabinet, they bring it here. My view is the Honorable Mao, Minister of Justice, and I'm not seeing anybody from the top brass of the Attorney General's chamber, either from the Attorney General, Deputy, or even Solicitor General. Do I have the Deputy Solicitor General? Sorry? He has been around, okay, because these are the legal advisors of government. I thought ministers should come to defend this budget as it is, because it's a cabinet document. Now, we are faced, we need money here. Did you discuss this in the cabinet? And what was the consensus in the cabinet? Or is it possible that actually finance presents this document and you people have not had a detailed discussion of this budget in the cabinet? There is something fundamentally wrong with the way cabinet is working. Priority, unfunded. If we got this money, we would do this. Did you have this conversation with the Minister of Finance and created a position? Then when you come to us as representative of the people, we can disagree with you. Say, us, we think this is not a priority, much as you people say this is a priority. I think you need to take this back to cabinet. That cabinet should come here with one voice, set out your priorities, and then it is us to look at them and either agree with you or not when we are invoking our powers of appropriation. This is a tidy way of working. And if I were to interpret the law, that's what I would be saying. But we are now going through what should have, the conversation which should have taken place in the cabinet. If a Minister of Justice is disagreeing with the one of Finance, then the one of Finance is disagreeing with, what do you guys do in the cabinet? Where is the Prime Minister in all this? Where is the head of this cabinet in all this? Have you guys sat as cabinet and discussed this budget and came up with a document which you bring to us for processing to agree with or disagree? And where we disagree, we have a conversation and we narrow the gap. If you were listening to us, this is how you should be handling these issues. Having said that, let me go to your document. Compensation. And I really appreciate, I don't want to spoil the party of compensation. I also appreciate Honorable Mao was the dilemma he could be in, because he comes from a place where actually they are asking for compensation. Can I ask, and even my colleagues here, because it is now a political campaign issue, but let me tell you, what formed the decision that it is only Teso, Acholi, and Elango to be compensated? I just want you to tell me what formed that position, such that the people who lost cattle during the war in Busoga will come along and say, yes, we compensate those of Acholi. That the people who lost whatever they lost in Kisoro, Kasese during will come with you and support you. That the people who lost property in Luwero will come with you. I want somebody to tell me what was this that formed that decision. That it is all Acholi, Lango, and Teso. Such that you get the entire country to support it, including those who lost and they are not being considered for compensation. Is it about logic? Is it about law? Is it about policy? Is it about politics? Give us in writing and say, by the way, this is what formed this logic, that these are the people only who lost. But if the other people who lost, then this has to be handled as a nation. And there is a biggest mistake we make, the Honorable Mao and team. In a budget process, many people look at the expenditure side. They are not looking at income. Because you see, a budget process is about what you have and how do you spend it. Simple as that. Now, I can say everybody is asking for money for compensation. Do we have this money? So if we don't have this money, we need to do reallocation. Now, where do we reallocate from to have this one? You make those proposals that you gave us this MTF, but we think we are not going to enhance salaries of workers. That sort of money can be saved and we compensate. That we are not going to, whatever it is, to have the budget lines cost and we provide money here. Because, you know, we need to be realistic when we are discussing a budget. We are talking about real resources of the country. Do we have those resources to do these unfunded priorities or not? And now that you sit in the cabinet, you should be able to tell us that actually the money is there. 2, I can see you've dated back up to, you said up to 1986. This, I want to be assisted. This I'm really speaking from point of ignorance. How do you do the verification? Is there any member here who sat on that team of verification? Was there a cattle register that you know that this peasant called the Cartoon to Nobert Mao had 13 cows? Was there a register? Oh, you are asking how many did you have? And we are talking about something which happened how many years ago? Over 30 years. Or 40 years. Let us be realistic about even this process of verification. Because I want to be sure that actually the money I am endorsing is going to a particular person who actually lost this number of cows. I want to be sure, certain. And you will carry along with me. But if it is about assumption, my colleague has talked about minors, it becomes very difficult for somebody maybe from not that region to see it. And yet we all want to live together as a country. If there is a problem, we need to sort it out. If the problem about poverty levels, we have problems of poverty levels. That's why I got so excited when we had specific programs like in northern Uganda, specifically affirmative action. In Luwero, specifically for affirmative action. And now we are talking about cattle compensation. I want to know the detailed process you've had of verification. And the one you, because there are others they are supposed to be verifying even today. What is it you are using? Lastly, Any lawyer will tell you that we have a challenge about the quality of legal training. Quality of legal training. There are so many law schools now, by many universities, channeling out hundreds of younger people as lawyers. LDC is also having a problem or a challenge to absorb them. But even those whom we are pushing out, there is something missing. And I want the Honorable Mao to address his mind to this. Isn't it time that we have law offered as a second degree? I don't know whether you get my point. Because one, it will have better lawyers, and I'll give you an example, Chair. If somebody has got another qualification, and then in addition he becomes a lawyer, if there is any consultants, take for example Bachelor of Commerce, Actuarial Sciences, and that sort of fellow becomes a lawyer, and we are talking about investment, he would be a better investment advisor than these sort of senior 6 trained lawyers. And other jurisdictions are doing it. If there is a dispute about, can you imagine about Sheraton collapsing today, and you've got architects who are lawyers, they would be able to resolve that more professionally than getting a general purpose lawyer to go and argue out complicated architectural drawings and so on, even if it's medicine. Just imagine a doctor who is a lawyer and there is a case of professional negligence, and it can go on and on. Isn't it time for you people to start thinking outside the box? Law Council, these are the sort of things we expect younger people to be thinking about. How do we make these professions better? And on a better note, I'd like to thank the ministry. I joined that ministry for a short time. There's one of you seated I joined this ministry with, one of you seated there. And I stayed there for 1.5 years and I left. But it is a far better ministry than the one I left. For those of you who have had to improve it, I thank you very much. That's why I was asking Mao, Honorable Mao, that what's wrong with the barracks. It was worse when we used to sit in this building, parliamentary building, as a Minister of Justice. Today, you are even far, far better. Not that you can't be better than what you are today, but you are doing a better job. I thank you. According to the deputy, even
we understand, and it's something that is bothering all of us. Can't we have you take leadership in that, so that one way or the other this matter is resolved? I've now seen many lawyers who are very afraid to even speak in the public or to give their opinions, because they think a judicial officer will just sit, constitute himself into a court, hear the evidence from himself and others, and then convict and even issue the warrants and etc. It's bothering people. They may not be able to speak. I think the senior lawyers have better languages of putting things mildly, but it's a big concern. And I thought that the minister could take that. Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for.
So Honourable Minister, I should be preparing to respond. We have overshot our time by an hour, and we are taking on another 20 minutes, which I'll be giving you to respond.
Has been raised, the quality of lawyers and advocates that is coming out has been raised by different stakeholders, including judiciary, and this influx has affected all other processes. And the Law Council has made significant progress on this. It has made proposals to the Attorney General. At the moment, a cabinet memorandum is being processed concerning legal education and training to to address the issue of numbers and the quality of lawyers and advocates coming out of institutions. At the moment, we have 17 universities teaching law, and there are other 4 in the pipeline. They all churn out law graduates every year. And as you may be aware, there are 3,000 students at LDC now. That is one of the issues which the regulator has identified, and proposals are being done. The cabinet memo is in the process, and the Attorney General will be presenting it in due course to cabinet on that issue. That influx has also affected the lead times of lawyers who are coming out of LDC. Last year, there were 2 graduations at LDC in April and in December. All graduations, you get 1,500 in a single graduation at LDC. And there were 2 graduations, those are 3,000 in 1 year, who all apply for enrollment at the same time. So the lead times have increased because of the influx. And an application now, because of those numbers, will take between 5 to 12 months because of the influx. And it's also affected by other factors. The 10-member law council has members who make these decisions. They are permanently employed elsewhere. They sit once a month. They are all permanently employed elsewhere. One of them is also here, a representative of the Solicitor General. It's headed by a Court of Appeal judge. There is a director LDC. There is a President Law Society. There is a member represents UJOA, Uganda Judicial Officers Association. There are members from ULS, Uganda Law Society, who also have other jobs. There is a principal school of law, among others. These are all permanently employed elsewhere. They're the ones who look at all these applications once a month. The 3,000 which will come at a go. So these applications also, the law council has also set certain standards for these applications. They have noticed that the quality of applications is also very, very poor. And this is a result of the quality of lawyers coming out, the drafting skills. Some people can't even spell their names 3 times. 3 times. They can't get their graduation dates right for 3 times or more. So it affects, there is no way the law council members will look at such applications and pass them. It affects the time that that person will enroll. The quality has really gone down, and that is why some of those applications will bounce back for those many months. You can't spell your name for 3 times. That's one of the reasons. The other reason is the frequency, which I've said. They sit once a month. The quality of the applications and the influx of numbers. Those are the main reasons.
Okay,
which
thank you.
affect.
Thank you. I think that's the bigger point she was making.
Yes.
We need to reinterrogate what is going on in those 17 law schools. Or are they just giving out degrees and people end up with law degrees, but there are people who can't even do basics? Because if you already have...
Actually, not only you're correct, even now, they have even gone through LDC. And now local say LDC was blaming the universities. They have passed through LDC, gone to locals are saying LDC.
They even have pre-entries, but they overwhelm. You see, did we have the capacity, first of all, to train them? Because you are talking about 3,000.
Procedure, Chair.
Where do you get the capacity training?
Chair,
Okay.
procedure.
Yes, procedure point.
The question of harmony between Uganda Law Society and the judiciary. Mr. Chairman, I was at the premises of the Uganda Law Society at their invitation, and some people thought I wouldn't go, but if I could go to Joseph Kony's camp in Garamba, what is this Uganda Law Society which is in Kololo, a place which doesn't have any security threat at all? In principle, all the parties agree that mediation is the way to go. All the parties. I spoke to the Attorney General himself, and he said, well, he really feels constrained to fight back, but he believes that there should be a method, and he said, it is okay, proceed with what you want. I requested the Chief Justice. I told the Chief Justice gave his conditions. Everybody has a condition.
Procedure, Chair.
Procedure.
Chair, the IGG is in the house, and she's been there for the last 30 minutes. Yes. So I don't know how long you have given my colleague, because the IGG needs to scrutinize our declarations. So I think it would be, I don't know whether it would be procedurally okay
So let the
to allow Chairman Mao more 2 minutes so that we entertain the IGG.
Yeah.
The rest of the answers we shall supply in writing. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Including the legal opinion on appropriation.